Yeah, it's just the pickle. It's the Eddie and Webby show, but it's just the pickle. It's just the pickle. The Eddie and Webby show, but it's just the pickle.
No, and for the last time, stop calling me. Oh, hey, how's it going? This is Webby, not Eddie.
And I'm Eddie. This is our 94th podcast.
Oh, yeah, episode number 94.
That's right. And this is Just the Pickle, where we are re-releasing old content and we're scraping off everything except for the pickleball to give you just the pickle. Right, Webby?
That's right. A lot of our older episodes had so much extra stuff that really didn't need to be there, so now we're just going to show you the pickle and nothing but the pickle.
That's right. And I do remember on the episode we're going to be talking about tonight, I was a little bit starstruck at first when we had the guest connect with us. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. It was definitely the most nervous I had ever been for one of our guests that we had on the show. He was at the top of the game, and definitely starstruck. That's definitely a great way to say it.
Yeah, obviously this player, incredibly well known, a legend of the sport. This was from April 19th, 2019. So almost 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago, which is kind of crazy to me. It was right around the U.S. Open time as well, which was kind of cool. And this was the first time we ever had a guest pass on a question that was asked of them. Do you remember that?
I do. Yep. That was very interesting. You'll have to tune in to see what we're talking about here.
That's right. I would have definitely passed on that question. But we also get to find out this pro player's spirit animal during this episode. And we are talking about none other than Kyle Yates on episode 38 from April 19th, 2019. Let's do it. Let's give you just the pickle. Our guest tonight is at the top of the sport we all love and talk about. He is the number one ranked men's doubles player in pickleball. He has won many major tournaments in singles, men's, and mixed doubles, and is kind of a local hero down here in Southwest Florida. So please welcome to the show, Kyle Yates. What's going on, man?
Hey guys, not much, just chilling. Nice and warm out here. I love it, but thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah, man, it's our pleasure. Thank you for joining us. Super excited about this. We're going to talk about a lot of things tonight, but we're not going to talk about pickleball at all. Not one thing about pickleball.
I don't believe that.
No, I'm just kidding. No, all joking aside, we are definitely going to talk a lot about pickleball, but we also kind of want to get to know you a little bit outside of your pickleball world. But I do actually want to bring up something. You just had a birthday recently, didn't you?
Yeah, just a few days ago. Thank you for remembering.
Yeah, of course, man. Well, happy birthday. Cheers to that. You're the big 2-4 now, right?
Yes, 24.
So does that mean that your pickleball age is 25, or does that wait until next year?
No, your pickle age is whatever age you are, at the end of the year. So I was 24 at the beginning of this year. So yeah.
Okay. Nice, man.
Yeah.
Well, one of the questions we always like to start off with here, which I'm sure everybody's going to be surprised about, is how did you get into pickleball?
Same as anybody else. Someone put a paddle in my hand and, the rest is history. But no, my uncle, who also introduced me to tennis, said, "Hey, Kyle, I've got this, cool sport for you. It's just like tennis and ping pong. You'll love it." And I said, "Well, what is it called?" And he goes, "Well, pickleball." And I go, "No, thanks. I'm good. I'll stick with tennis." And he goes, No, come on. You got to try it. So he got me on the court, handed me a paddle, put me up at the, no volley zone line, said, "Hey, you can't go in here. Just, stay right behind this line and just, volley the ball back and forth." And thought it was the coolest thing ever and got hooked right away. I think I was about 15, 16 years old. Yeah.
Okay. But you were also still playing tennis at the time as well, right?
Yeah, I still was playing tennis in high school. I played a lot of sports growing up, but tennis mainly in high school. And I went to college and didn't play tennis in college. Played a lot of pickleball. I had a lot of free time on my hands in college. And instead of, getting in trouble, I just went to the pickleball courts and, there we go.
All right. Where'd you go to school at?
University of Florida in Gainesville, which is the Villages. where I played a lot with some guys who back national champions. So they got me started playing the right way right off the bat.
That's actually a really good point you bring up. I feel like a lot of people, when they start off, if they already have a little bit of a tennis background and then they get partnered up with some of these like really top solid players, it's almost like their level of play just skyrockets because you always play up to the people you're with, right? Do you feel like that happened to you?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, when I started playing competitively, I played with these guys, Robert Elliott, Brian Staub, Phil Bagley, Matt Staub. And the year, which was 2013, I went to college. 2013, Brian Staub and Phil Bagley actually won the men's open doubles national title. So they were actually the best team in the world. Those were the guys I got to practice with all summer. So they kicked my butt for, months on end, but it made me so much better.
That's cool. Do you feel like you now get to pass that on where you get to kick everybody else's butt to help make them better as well?
Well, that happened to Ben Johns. I mean, he'll tell you I whooped him pretty good for a couple months straight, and then now the kid's a monster. So, but yeah, it's cool to see. I mean, you just see the sport growing and evolving every year. So it's just fun to kind of keep up with it and see, some players who were great back in the day don't really play as much anymore, and some players who I've known for a couple of years just keep getting better. And it's you see all these new players just popping up, and it's really exciting to see where we're going.
That's pretty cool. You mentioned you used to play tennis formerly. Did you start in high school or did you start even before that?
I had a racket in my hand probably when I was maybe 10 or 11, but I played mostly soccer growing up. So I didn't get really formal coaching in tennis till high school. And then going into high school, I kind of started playing more tennis. I got a coach and started playing more tournaments and whatnot. One of my really good friends played tennis and kind of said, hey, you should take this a little more seriously. So I played a ton, like freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, high school. And then just kind of, I knew I wasn't going to play in college. So senior year, I just kind of fell off a little bit, focused more on school.
Okay.
People ask me all the time, they say, oh, you were a big tennis player, right? I mean, my doubles partner last year at the US Open, Matt Wright, Division I, tennis player, number one singles in Michigan, All-American. So people ask me if I was a tennis player. I said, yeah, I played tennis, but I wasn't a big-time tennis player. There are a lot better tennis players than me playing the sport. So I played tennis, but I wouldn't consider myself a big tennis player.
Yeah, I saw a quote. You dabbled in it. Yeah. I saw a quote from you actually that I thought was pretty awesome. I want to read it here real quick. And it kind of goes along with exactly what you were just saying. It is, people assume I was some big-time tennis player. I wasn't. I played tennis, but compared to some of the other guys, I wasn't very good. It just goes to show that anybody can be good at pickleball regardless of background if they really work at it. And I loved that quote, man. I think that quote
believe
sums
that.
it up. Yeah.
I believe that. One of my doubles partners at this US Open, Brian Ashworth, basketball player. He never played tennis at all, and he's one of the best players in the world in pickleball without ever playing a racket sport. So, some people are athletes or some people just kind of figure out how to play pickleball, and everyone has their own styles and finds a way to make it work for them.
Okay. Webby, what's going on in the socials, man?
Yeah, we've got a couple interesting questions already. Our first one comes from Kenny Chow, who we actually had on the previous episode. What's going on, Kenny? Kenny said that we have to ask Kyle how Danny Duncan is doing at pickleball, and will we see the miniature horse at Naples?
I think Danny's back in LA, but when he gets back to Florida, I'll ask him if he wants to come watch. But no, Danny's a friend of mine that is famous on YouTube, and he's got a mini horse, but I don't think he'll bring it to the courts.
Nice.
Really funny guy. If you guys want to check out, his name's Danny Duncan, one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. If you want to check out his YouTube channel, guy's a riot.
All right,
check that out.
Yeah, definitely need to check that out. We've actually got a couple questions here from Shelly Saint Amand. He says, I recently lost a game in a tournament and am totally bummed out. Does Kyle get into this type of funk? And what does he do about it? And I was in the tournament with Shelly, and what he means by he lost, that means he got silver. So I just want to clear that up. He got silver, but to him, that's losing. So he wants to know, do you get in a funk if you don't get gold in tournaments?
I don't necessarily get in a funk if I don't get gold. Obviously, everyone's competitive. Obviously, I want to win. I'm disappointed when I lose. But, even a day even a day on a pickleball court where you don't necessarily win, you still probably met a lot of nice people, and you probably still had fun. So it's all right. It's better than a day at work, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I was talking to Shelly about this recently. He brings up a good point because I do know a lot of people where it's either gold or you're a loser, pretty much. I'm definitely not in that position because I'm happy to win anything. But like, do you experience that with a lot of people you play with, Kyle? Like if they don't win gold, they're pretty much bummed out about it.
Yeah, that's Ricky Bobby's philosophy. If you ain't first, you're last, right? But I mean, hey, you look at the U.S. Open. There's, if in your draw there's probably 50 other people. I mean, what's your percent chance you actually win? As long as you got there and compete and have fun. I mean, that's all you can ask for, right?
Yeah, that's my outlook. Definitely, I like that approach. I would definitely be a very angry and sad person if not winning gold made me upset because that doesn't happen too frequently for me, unfortunately. Not yet, anyway. It's gonna start happening. You just watch.
Hey, you guys just get to the beer bracket sooner, right?
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, that's the best part right there. We got another one from Shelly. He says a question about mixed doubles. He said that Kyle played differently with Simone at the Florida Slam than he did with Corinne at the Lakes. And his question is, at what moment do you decide when to initiate your poach?
I don't know what he means by play differently. For example, if he's talking about I maybe try to be a little more aggressive when I play with Corinne, mixed doubles is kind of weird because their philosophies where the guy maybe you want to try to get as many balls as possible, and some people say, hey, let the girl play. Corinne and Simone are two of the best. Simone is the best woman in the world, and Corinne's one of the best women in the world. So I have full confidence that they can make any shot I need them to. I do know late in the day, Corinne wasn't really feeling good because I actually let her hit maybe too many balls. The other teams kind of wore her out. So later in the day, I tried to take more balls than usual, and it actually got us through a couple matches, and then we ended up losing. We ended up getting third because I can't play the entire court against two other players that level. But with Simone, I don't feel the need to go step in front of her to take too many balls. I'm pretty confident she'll do the right thing with it every time. If there comes a point where she needs me to, step over and maybe take some balls to give her a break, I'm happy to do that. But I mean, when Simone's next to you, you don't feel like you need to do too much. You kind of just have to not screw up, essentially. So maybe that's what he means.
Nice.
All right. Well, thank you for that info. I do have one more question here for now. This one comes from John Davison, and he says, what type of chair would you recommend I bring to the U.S. Open to relax in between matches? I'm thinking Adirondack, but it's my first Adirondack, but it's my first U.S. Open, and I just want your opinion.
Well, I suggest John brings a chair that's very comfy because he's probably going to be sitting for quite a while, when you go 0-2, you're going to have a long day. But, hey, when you bring that chair, make sure you get a nice front row seat for my matches. Okay, Johnny? John's a good friend of mine, people. So I'm not just trying to be rude to some random person.
Nice. I like it.
But, yeah, John, bring something comfy, buddy. Or just buy a ticket to the stadium court.
There you go. And I lied. I do have one more question. This one comes from Zach Slice. He says, does Kyle play any other games besides Fortnite? I'm assuming he's reacting to the video that Scott Golden recently posted, A Day in the Life of, featuring Kyle Yates. And I do believe you were playing some Fortnite in that video.
Yeah, well, my day is so much revolved around outside and, playing pickleball and working out and stuff where, you can't do that all day, every day. So there are times where I have to, rest, actually. So sometimes I play video games for fun, just to kind of sit down and chill for a little while. And Fortnite's a pretty fun game, so I play sometimes. But back in the day, I actually was really good at Battlefield. I don't really play that much anymore. I'm kind of busy. But, I used to play Battlefield. It's really fun, but not so much anymore.
Just strictly Fortnite then?
Yeah, I got actually sickly, insanely good at Battlefield. Fortnite. I'm still kind of a noob, so. But it's something fun to do, when your legs are sore and you just want to sit down and chill for a little while. It's just it's all right.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only video game I ever play these days is Fortnite because because I focus so much on the YouTube channel and pickleball, I don't have much time to play video games anymore. But yeah, Fortnite is one of those games where you can play it for like 20 minutes, or you can play it for like 4 hours, and it's super fun just to do every once in a while. So
I usually try to be more productive than that, but when I've got
yeah,
nothing else to do, and I got some friends that want me to jump on and play, I'll play some squad with them. It's pretty social.
Nice. It's awesome. Good stuff on the socials. Appreciate you guys keep coming with those comments and questions. I still have a ton of questions though and things I want to get into here with you, Kyle, as well. So, I've seen you at a few of the smaller tournaments recently, right? And I think that everybody has like a different kind of pregame routine or ritual. And you seem like very calm, cool, chill, relaxed pregame. Kind of two questions. Is that just your normal pregame routine? And is it different between maybe some of the major tournaments coming up like the US Open versus maybe some of these smaller tournaments?
Most people just see me on court, so they think I'm pretty intense, but off court, I'm usually pretty laid back, pretty chill for the most part, which actually on court, I get to kind of release everything. But off court, I'm usually pretty chill. So before a match, like my normal persona is usually pretty relaxed, pretty calm. I do know going into a match, the last thing you want to do is freak out. I'm pretty confident with my ability going into most matches that I don't really need to stress. I don't feel like I need to overhit or drill too much. I know I'm going to be just fine if I just relax and just play my game. So that kind of helps me relax going into matches where I'm confident enough that, I don't need to worry too much. So, I go in and I don't feel the need to hit too many shots for a match. I'll go out, hit a couple balls. It usually feels fine. So why fix what ain't broke, But I do know before like a big match or something I know is going to be really tough, or even a major final or something, obviously I'm out drilling and stuff, behind scenes that no one is really watching. But once I get on stadium court, I'm usually already ready to go. I just hit a couple balls and I'm more eager just to kind of get the match started and have some fun.
All right. Yeah, I remember I think it was the South Florida Slam back in December. There was, I don't know, 2-3+ hours that you and Aspen had before your medal match, where you guys were sitting around. What do you do? Like, because I know a lot of people run into this, right? They have this extended period of time, and it's like you don't want to overdo it and exhaust yourself. You typically don't want to eat a lot of food and make yourself sick, but you want to stay loose. Like, what's your take on all that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's typical. With these double eliminations, I end up finding myself having to wait for the final quite a bit, and especially in the men's doubles. So you might have a 2 or 3 hour break at times. And for me, when I know I'm not going to play for a while, I just get my mind completely off pickleball usually. I just go and just think about something else, just kind of just get away from it and not have that mental stress, But if I'm getting ready for a big match, or there's like maybe I know I'm going to play the next 30 minutes or an hour, I'll go get loose, kind of keep moving, maybe just go hit a couple balls. I know every maybe 30, 45 minutes or so, I kind of want to at least kind of get moving so I don't get too sleepy. I know taking a nap is usually a bad idea because then you have to like re-wake up and get the whole body going again. So if you kind of stay in a groove, because obviously if you're waiting for a gold medal match, you're doing something right all day. So you're obviously playing well. So you want to do whatever you can to keep that feeling. So yeah, just rest a little bit, eat, definitely take time to eat. That's actually my favorite part of the day, is if I had just won the winner's final. I'm so excited winning that match. Whenever I win that match, I get so happy because I know it's like, yes, I got 2 hours, lunchtime, baby. Otherwise you're just stuck playing match after match after match. You don't even have time to eat. So
Right.
Definitely get some food, just sit down, relax, just chill, let everybody else get tired out in the sun playing matches, and try to refocus and try to get warmed up, for the next match a few hours later.
All right. Do you ever listen to music or anything to kind of get you in the zone at all?
Sometimes, when I'm sitting at a tournament, I'm not really the type of person that's just going to put headphones on and ignore everybody else. I'm usually going to, maybe chat with some people. That's my time to like actually socialize with, with my friends. When I'm on court, I'm out there playing with my opponents, but when I'm off court, I actually get to hang out and talk to my friends that I rarely see. So I usually take that time to do that, or I'm even watching a friend's match. Maybe, I'm usually with people. So, but yeah, I'll listen to music before matches sometimes, but I'm usually with people or I'm busy doing something. But it doesn't take me long to kind of refocus and get ready for a match. I'm usually pretty amped and ready to go, even though it doesn't look like it always. But before a match, I'm definitely excited to start playing.
Okay. But I mean, it sounds to me like, you have experience playing in tournaments, pretty much growing up in sports and stuff like that. So do you feel like that helps you with the kind of the mental side of playing in a lot of these tournaments?
I think it helps with the stress level. Just not that there's no pressure, but I'm kind of just used to playing matches and I'm used to playing in tournaments now where, it doesn't really get to me as much. I'll step out on stadium court, obviously US Open, and my heart's racing, but at the same time, I just know, hey, I've been here a whole bunch of times. It's nothing new. It's more just like that fun, like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to play. These people are watching. They're going to love it. They're going to cheer. We'll see what happens. Hopefully I can play well. Usually I play well. Even when I lose, I still feel most of the time that I played well. So I just try to have fun with it. If you put too much pressure on yourself, if you're, too nervous to mess up, that's usually where things go wrong. So I just enjoy getting to play and, that's all that really matters.
Okay. Nice. Looks like we got some stuff going on in the socials again here, Webby. What's going on there?
Yeah, so Kyle, I hope you're ready for a John Davidson Q&A segment because he's got a bunch of questions for you here. Let's start with the first one. How does it feel to have people say that you're almost as good looking as Matt Nielsen?
That's a huge compliment in my book, man. Have you seen that guy? He's beautiful.
Nice.
If you guys don't know Matt Nielsen, he's a Tampa guy. He's mid-20s, but he's a elementary school teacher. And people confuse us a lot because he's kind of my size. My arms are a little bigger than his. If he's watching, he knows I'm kidding. But he's a good-looking dude, so I'll take that compliment today. Thank you, John.
John also says, do you think the key to winning is celebrating points louder than the other team? Furthermore, how do you feel about opponents who celebrate openly on return errors, foot faults, or a cracked ball, earning them a point?
How does anybody feel about a team celebrating after like a net cord winner? Usually we apologize, but if people are that excited to win a point, good for them, right? How happy are they? So, good for them. I know it's pretty fun when a team gets really riled up and they're excited and they're yelling, where you're like, okay, let's stay calm, let's just beat them. So that's kind of how I usually get. It's like, you guys can celebrate now, but just see all scoreboard and see what happens.
Nice. John also says, so after 3 second place finishes at the US Open for singles, do you think 2019 is your year?
I'm just curious to know who I'm going to play in the finals this year. Because, the first year I had Marson, then I had Ben, then I had Tyson. I've been there every time, so there's something consistent about me getting there. I just don't know who's going to show up this year. It seems to be someone new every time. So we'll wait and see which guy shows up to meet me in the final this year.
There's a bunch more from John. I'll just do a couple more for now and give somebody else a turn. But John also says, you seem like a bit of a pretty boy. Can you explain the new shaved head look?
Yeah, so I went with like a little military cut. I actually think I like it a lot. I usually have hair, and this time of year I usually get a pretty short cut because it's just too hot for hair right now. But it'll come back. It'll come back by winter for sure.
Now you can definitely pull it off. Not everybody can pull off the shaved head look. You can pull it off. Mm-hmm. So nice.
I tried it. It didn't work.
Yeah, I did it once before too. My head is kind of a weird shape. Like the back of my head is like, it almost looks like one of those aliens from one of those movies. I forget which movie it is, but yeah, like the back of my skull seems a bit elongated, if you will. Yeah, the shaved head looks not totally for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do, I'll do one more from John and then I'll move on to somebody else. He says, are you fearful that one day Ben Johns will start playing with a better partner?
God. Ouch.
Wow.
That's kind It's kind of rude coming from a 4.0. Golly.
Oh, snap.
Yeah,
Ouch.
I love it.
Man, I'm not even gonna answer that. Ouch.
Yeah, we're gonna take a little break from the John Davison segment. Here's a question from, or it's more of a comment from from Rob Noonan. He says, Kyle, you were the first person I watched on YouTube to learn the game 3 years ago. Just want to say I respect your option to play with the same paddle with the all new ones coming out, or with all the new ones coming out. Sorry, I don't know how to read sometimes, but yeah, he respects your option to play with the same paddle, even though there's new ones coming out.
Oh, it's just my favorite paddle. There's a lot of new paddles coming out. The technology really hasn't changed that much in the last couple of years. But yeah, I'm going to use whatever I think gives me the best chance to win, and that's still for me the Paddletech Bantam EXL.
Nice. That's actually the paddle I currently use. I use the Bantam EXL Pro, and I absolutely love it. Love it. I love that paddle. Let's do one more comment for now. This one comes from Michelle Cook. She says, I'm driving the golf carts at the U.S. Open, and I'll give you a ride if needed. Holler!
Excellent.
Nice. Good stuff coming in there. Kyle, looks like the sunset. Are you sitting outside? Is that what's going on?
I can go turn the light on if you guys need me to.
Yeah, whatever you want, man. If it's nearby,
I'll go turn the light on.
go for it.
Take a quick break.
All right, this is the intermission. This is the halfway point probably for the Kyle Yates interview here on the Eddie and Webby show. I think it's going great. What do you think so far, Eddie? And he's back.
Nice. Love
it's
it.
Quick.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Much better. Now we can see you. Man, good stuff. This is a lot of interaction on Facebook, which is super awesome to see. I'm not surprised. I was expecting it to be like that. So, Kyle, one thing that I've been really like wanting to get into with you, actually has to do with the upcoming U.S. Open. But before we talk about it, I did want to play a little video that we put together here. It's something that we do for a lot of the pros that come on. And this is from last year's U.S. Open. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and play it.
Rospetsky kind of forcing the younger duo to play more pickleball here than hard-hitting tennis. And the plan is working temporarily, but how about that?
That's exactly what's happening here. And that is
dig
just
by
what
Matt,
this crowd
though.
needed to see.
Oh, man.
I don't know if you remember that. We posted that video. That was our first Pickle Thug Life that we did. Posted that, God, I don't even know when it was, back end of summer,
That's awesome.
Early fall. But yeah, I got to tell you, watch. Sometimes I still pull up that match and watch it. Like if I have 20 minutes to watch some pickleball, I'll pull up that match because, man, it's just so much fun to watch.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, man, they played well. Gosh, so you guys gave me the thug life right there for the Ernie, but do you see that dig from Matt?
Mm-hmm.
He chipped it from his shoelace off the top of the net. How lucky can you get? But we'll take it. We'll take it. Yeah, it was a fun match, man. What's funny about that match was the other three guys on the besides me were all in their 40s.
Oh, really?
If that goes to show you anything about pickleball, man. But, you know, they all have a lot of years of competitive pro sports experience. So that definitely plays a factor, and that's why they make it to a U.S. Open final, man. They can play under the pressure really well. I mean, you see Dave and Marson and Matt. I mean, they're in finals, you know, all the time, you know, winning championships all the time. So it's cool to see with a sport where you can have guys in their 40s picking on guys like me in their 20s.
Yeah, I mean, didn't Marson go and have knee surgery like within a couple weeks of that match?
Right after that, yeah. And not only that, but he just won a tournament last month out in Palm Desert. He just won the men's pro doubles out there. So, I mean, he's having knee surgeries and he's still killing it. So it's really cool to see. He's an awesome guy. Yeah,
it's one of the things I love about the sport is that, you know, it really it pulls away all the, all of the extremes, right? So that everybody has a good fighting chance. And so it's an easy sport to learn, but a really hard sport to master. And I think, like you said, the 4 people on that court right there is kind of an example of that.
Yeah, for sure.
So we do have the 2019 US Open coming up here in just a couple weeks. Super excited about that. Actually, I think it starts in like a week and a half. You've done pretty well at the US Open in the past. Do you have any kind of favorite moments of any of the previous US Opens that you can remember?
Gosh. You never really forget the first time. So the first year when Dave and I won, what's crazy story was Dave and I won the men's pro doubles the first year, 2016, I think. I wasn't supposed to be playing with him at all. I was actually committed to playing with someone else leading up to it. And sure enough, maybe a month or two, maybe 2 months before the tournament, he ended up, not being able to play with me. And so I didn't even have a partner. So I hit up Dave because everyone else was partnered up, and I knew Dave wasn't coming for some reason. And so I was like, dude, I need you to come play this with me. And he wasn't really into it. He's like, I don't know, man, I don't really want to go down to Florida. It's going to be hot. I don't think it's going to be all it's cracked up to be. And I was like, dude, trust me, it's going to be amazing. I've been talking to tournament directors. This thing's going to be unreal. It's going to be the best tournament of the year. You've got to come play with me. And he said, well, if there's good enough players there, I'll come play for the competition. I'm like, dude, everyone else is going to be here. What are you talking about? You got to get here. So he ends up saying fine. So he actually reluctantly said yes, came down and played with me. And yeah, we had a couple tough matches early in the day. We went to a third set in a match. We were actually down in the third, came back and won, made it to the finals. And in the finals, we were playing Daniel Moore and Wes Gabrielson, who at the time, those guys were actually the 1 and 2 male doubles players in the world. At the time, Daniel Moore was the best player in the world. He was winning singles titles, mixed doubles titles, men's doubles titles. He was winning everything. And he actually won the mixed pro doubles with Sarah Ansbury that year. And then Wesley Gabrielson is one of the greatest of all time. So, we went into that match as basically underdogs. And gosh, they hit almost every ball to Dave, and he played out of his mind, and we beat him somehow. And so I just, the excitement level of that, where, you have this new tournament, everyone's there watching, and it's right down basically down the street from me, and to show up and basically win, it was unreal. And then the next year with Dave to win it again was ridiculous. That's you never really forget those feelings. And then obviously I played with Matt last year, and he's not too shabby himself. And,
yeah.
So, and this year I've got Ben Johns, and there's no pressure on us. Obviously, I just love playing with Ben, and we're gonna go out there and we're just gonna put on a show, because that's what the whole tournament's about. We're just trying to, show everyone how great, how fun the sport of pickleball is. And if we get some good matches and we go out there and we put on a show, that's really all that matters. But obviously we'd like to win, and we're gonna give it our best.
Nice, man. So you're playing with Ben, but who are you playing for the men's age?
I'm playing with my friend Brian Ashworth. I've played with him the last 2 years, in the 19 and 24. So I'll be playing with him again in the age men's doubles. And then in the age mixed doubles, 19 and 24 years old, my partner is 12 years old. I'm playing with Anna Lee Waters over by east coast of Florida near like Delray. I haven't played a tournament with her yet, so this will be our practice run, and she's phenomenal, and really looking forward to letting her. Hopefully we get to play on stadium court. It's not always a given, but if we do, I'm really excited to see what she can do, because she's pretty exciting to watch. I think the sport needs to see more of her, and I think we will.
Yeah, for sure, man. If anybody that got to watch the matches that she played with her mom at the Florida Grand Slam, oh my God, unbelievable player. So actually I was going to ask you, is your strategy just going to be to keep the ball in play and just let her dominate the net?
Yeah, I'll just keep it in play. You hit all the winners, Ale. Yeah, no, she and her mom are already, some of the best players in the world. She's got a lot of potential. Her mom's phenomenal too. Don't sleep on Lee. But yeah, I'm just excited to play with her. She's real, spunky, energetic. She plays obviously really well, but she's very coachable. So I know, we'll play well together. I'm excited just to kind of let her loose, at the U.S. Open, and show everyone, how great she is. I think she deserves the spotlight.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. I mean, you and Ben, that's old news, but you and Anna Lee, there we go. Now everybody's going to come to watch that, right?
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, that's cool. I'm excited.
I do want to mention one more thing. Even more fun than winning the men's doubles. I actually got to play with my sister a couple of years ago. Who, if you guys don't know, my sister played college soccer, but has had numerous ACL surgeries and still plays pickleball. And we won the mixed doubles 19 plus a couple of years ago, and that was one of the first tournaments I've actually played with her. That was the first time she played against pro players, and she held her own, and we won. And so I think my mom was probably crying off to the side like the whole time watching us play together. But and she has a joy, obviously, but that's probably one of my fondest memories of that tournament was just being able to share that with my sister because she doesn't necessarily play pro pickleball. She I think she wants to get there, but she's more of a recreational player. Loves it. She's 5'0", but to see her play as well as she did with that much kind of I know she probably put a lot of pressure on herself, and she stepped up to the plate and hit a home run. And it's one of those brother-sister moments that you're just so proud of.
That's awesome, man. How is it? Is the brother-sister dynamic, like when you're on the court, how does that play into it?
Well, she's more competitive than I am. So that gets interesting. So, when I'm playing well and, she's playing well, it's all great. And as soon as I make a couple of errors, there's some high rolls, but it's fine, It's fun. It's just fun being able to share that with her,
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's a cool story.
Yeah. Feel good story of the night.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Webby, what's going on in socials, man?
Lots of great questions here. Here's another one from Shelly. He says, do you use a ball machine for drilling?
Sometimes we have, we got the Simon back in the day. If you guys have ever seen the Simon, it was one of the first ball machines that came out. I used that a lot a few years ago to work on my ground strokes. We have a Lobster now. If you guys have heard of that, it's one of the newer ones.
I have one of those. Yeah.
I like hitting with people, and there's so many players in this area that I can practice with. So I don't necessarily feel the need to use a ball machine that much, especially, there's so many players in this area. I live in Fort Myers, Florida, and, it's not far from Naples, but there's so much pickleball in this area that I can call up anybody any time of day, really, and go hit. So I think a lot of people would be kind of, annoyed if I would choose a ball machine over them, but sometimes it's good.
Yeah.
If you don't necessarily have anyone to practice with, or, it can be helpful for sure.
Nice. Zach Slice wants to know, what's your favorite cheat meal?
Cheat meal. Well, if you guys don't know, I really don't eat a lot of fast food. I know Scott Lippitz makes fun of me because I eat kale, which I actually think is good, especially with some pineapple. You don't even need salad dressing. You just kale and pineapple is a good snack. But cheat meal. Man, I love macaroni and cheese. If that's considered a cheat meal. I don't really eat fast food, and it's actually mainly because I don't really like it. Cheat meal. Pizza. I'll eat pizza every once in a while, sometimes, order some Papa John's. It's delicious, but I don't eat it that often.
Nice. I do love a good slice of pizza from Papa John's myself. That's a good choice.
Yeah.
Nikki Galowich wants to know, are you going for that Triple Crown at the Open this year?
No pressure. I show up to the courts the morning of a tournament like this, not necessarily expecting, but with the intent of winning that day. I'm not going to show up and go play thinking like, let's win a couple rounds and call it there. No, I'm coming to win, and I'm going to give it my best. And if I play well and hopefully make it far, if not, that's how sports goes. But I'm definitely going to go for the win. And I know last year I actually had won 4 gold medals and a silver. So I was actually 1 game away from the Triple Crown, and that probably would have been the highlight of my career. That would have been unreal. Like, probably would have just felt like a dream. But this year, hopefully I can improve on that. But yeah, just, I'm going to show up and I'm going to compete, and I'm going to look to win, and I'm going to give it my best, and we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Nikki had another question, which is a great one that I've actually been curious myself. How do you balance staying focused and into a game while still trying to preserve energy, especially in singles?
That's a great question. Preserving energy in singles is tough. Trust me.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
you
yeah.
if you start if you start trying to conserve your energy in singles, guess what happens? You start losing. Uh, so yeah, you got to know your body and know which balls that maybe you should not run for. If you're back by the fence and they had a perfect little drop shot in the kitchen, maybe you just clap and say nice shot and move on with your life. So maybe you can conserve some energy that way. Um, I know physical fitness plays such a role at some of these tournaments now. Where back in the day when the brackets were smaller, it might not have been as important. But nowadays, man, you got to be ready to grind all day long, especially in this Florida heat. So, I think preparation is probably the most important thing, making sure your body's ready for it, making sure you're hydrating and you're eating the right, foods and et cetera. But yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a long week, but it's a lot of fun. Just keep pushing and have some fun, Nikki.
Nice. Yeah, great question. Thanks for that. Here's a question from somebody new. He goes by the name of John Davison. With
Ooh.
all of the with all of the traveling, tournaments, public appearances, community service events, and podcasts that you do, how do you find the time to keep your physique in top form while balancing that busy schedule?
All the playing I do is probably what does it. But waking up in the morning and going to the gym and swimming in the pool probably helps a little bit. But I wouldn't say my physique is in top form. Have you seen Matt Nielsen? Gosh, man. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say my physique is in top form, but I do play a lot of pickleball, and I'm sure that helps.
Shelly has another great question. I took a clinic with you at the U.S. Open Academy. Are you doing clinics currently, and how can people find out about them?
Good question. I actually love teaching. I don't get to do it enough. I know a few years ago when Simone first moved to Naples and started teaching at the US Open Pickleball Academy, she asked me to come down and help out with some of her camps. And I went down and started teaching with her, and I learned a lot from watching her. I mean, she's got, decades of, college tennis coaching. And so she's phenomenal. If you ever get a chance to take a lesson from Simone, she's one of the best instructors I've ever seen, and she knows the game so well. Just listening to her explain things, I feel like I know the game pretty well. She's extremely intelligent, high pickleball IQ, but I learned a lot from her on how to teach, and obviously I'm still trying to get better at it. It's a process. It's teaching people is not easy, and it takes a lot of experience. But I'm definitely getting better at it. But yeah, I give group clinics here and there. I know one of my favorite things is going to a club that I've never been, seeing their brand new courts, they just added, and getting to meet all the members there and getting to teach them. It's probably part of my job that's the most rewarding, getting to teach people, because then you get to help them and you see their improvement and you see how happy they are that they're getting better, and learning new things. So that's probably one of the best parts of my job. But yeah, I do good clinics. Most of them are pretty private because they typically fill up pretty fast. So I don't necessarily need to advertise that much for them. But if you follow my social media, if you follow my Kyle Yates Pickleball Facebook page, or just follow me on Facebook at all, or even on Instagram, kyleyates.pb, I might, if I need to advertise or if I'm in a certain area, I sometimes will post. But yeah, there's only so many weeks in the year, so I can only teach so much, and I play so much already, so I don't get to teach as much as I'd like to, but I'm definitely getting into it more, and I've done quite a few clinics over the last couple months, and there'll be plenty more.
Very nice. Man, we definitely have never had as much interaction as we have had tonight. I'm just going to read one more question for now. This one comes from a fellow podcaster. Many of you are probably familiar with this person, Steve Paranto. Hey, Kyle, my guest last week invited you to play at his location, Cypress Cove. Will you take him up on this close optional challenge? Not to put you on the spot or anything, but
Pass. Next question. I don't know, man. That's tough. I mean, as the saying goes, if the money's right, we'll see. I could just show up blindfolded, and I could teach blindfolded. I'm sure it'd work just fine.
Nice.
Oh, that's
Thanks for
awesome.
the question, Steve.
That's a tough question, Steve. Why you got to do that?
Did you know that you had an open invite out there for that?
No.
No.
No, I must not have read that yet.
All right. Awesome. Great
Well, Eddie,
questions, man.
why didn't we get invited? That's what I want to know. We
I
didn't
know,
get invited.
Yeah, we didn't get the invite. Apparently.
What's that supposed to mean?
Yeah.
Our bodies must not be in top physical condition like Kyle's is.
I need to take the Matt Nielsen training program apparently to be invited. Nice. All right. Moving on here. So we've talked a lot about pickleball here, but I know personally for me, one of the things I like to do when I talk to a lot of the pro pickleball players is get to know them a little bit outside of pickleball, right? So you currently live now in Fort Myers. Did you grow up in Southwest Florida?
Yeah, born and raised Fort Myers, Florida.
Okay. Nice, man. And I know you mentioned tennis, you mentioned soccer. Were there any other sports that you were active in growing up?
Yes, I played everything. I just pretty active. So I've played, basketball and, a lot of table tennis. We had my dad had a ping pong table at his house growing up. So whenever I go, see him, we played a ton of ping pong. He loved it. So I played a lot of that growing up, mostly soccer and then some table tennis and tennis when I got a little older. Both my parents actually were professional golfers. My dad's still a club pro. So, I've played probably, a little bit of golf. I didn't love it growing up. I wanted to run around, play soccer, but when I got a little older, I started appreciating more and actually played golf in high school. So yeah, I play a little bit of that here and there. I appreciate it more now. So that's kind of one of those things you get to go out, father son bonding, go play some golf. So I enjoy that sometimes. Nice, relaxing little getaway.
How often do you get to play golf?
Not as much as I'd like to be honest. I played a lot more a few years ago. Now it's so much pickleball these days, so I don't get to really do a whole lot else right now. It's tournament basically every other weekend. So, every once in a while, maybe once every couple months.
Okay. Yeah, I used to play golf at least once a week up until I started to get big into pickleball, and I think I've gone out maybe once when I had some family in town, and that was it. It happens. We talked a little bit about you playing Fortnite. Is there anything else that you do to kind of recharge your batteries when, you need to just kind of ground yourself a little bit? Any other activities?
Getting big into yoga
Yeah.
is huge. Everyone always says stretch more. So that's something you could do for, a couple hours a day. It's super relaxing, super healthy for you, for your body, especially, when you get older. I love swimming. So anytime I can go in the water, just go to the pool. Even if not just swimming laps, but just go and just hang out and, refresh. It's so hot here. I used to go to the beach a lot. Like I said, I'm pretty busy now. So it's hard to have one of those days where you can just relax. Yeah. Now I kind of seem to be just kind of on the move a lot. But yeah, I like being outside. So I don't really want to sit inside too much. So it's one of those things like when I'm too fried from the sun, then I'm kind of stuck inside. It's one of those, it's kind of almost like gloomy. I want to be outside with nice weather. So to recharge, I get my 8 hours of sleep at night and then, start the next day. But any chance I get to just sit down and maybe watch some sports on TV and just relax, I appreciate it.
Okay. Did you get to watch
like the Masters?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, gosh, I didn't get to watch that much of it. I actually was in Baton Rouge teaching all weekend, so I got to watch a little bit. I definitely watched the highlights. I'm big into that. I get to watch I basically just YouTube the highlights. You know, I'm big into the NBA, so I watch a lot of the highlights from the NBA finals after games. You know, so I don't necessarily get to sit and watch the games usually. But the Masters, how about that, man? That was exciting. I got Tiger Woods' autograph back maybe 12 years ago. You know, I idolized him growing up, and I know he's, you know, kind of sore subject for some people. You know, some people love him, some people hate him, but you can't help but admit that the guy is the greatest of all time now. So that's pretty cool to see history, right?
Yeah, I mean, for him to bounce back like that, you know, after all those years, I've always had a huge respect for Tiger because I feel like he was the first pro athlete who kind of, for lack of a better term, legitimized sports psychology. And I think sports psychology is huge. I think the mental game is it's like the last thing that needs to be mastered to really see how amazing humans can be in athletics. And he legitimized it. He brought it to the surface. And so I have a ton of respect for him and what he's been able to, you know, bring to golf and other athletics because of that.
And he certainly makes golf exciting. I'll give him that, man. You kind of on the edge of your seat watching him.
Yeah.
You're kind of on the edge of your seat watching him. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. So as everybody knows, we have a team of researchers that dig deep into the backgrounds of all of our guests, right? And so we want to do a quick little segment here that's called Explain the Facebook Photos. So I have 4 photos that we dug deep and we found that I want to be able to show on the screen and have you kind of break down for us what's going on here. So let's start with the first one here.
Where'd you find that? Oh man, yeah. So we were in Punta Cana. I was teaching with Simone and Matthew Blom, and we basically it was a long morning, hot morning, and the campers were a little tired. So, you know, I was just having a little fun.
Oh, nice, man. That's cool. So you said that was in Punta Cana?
In the Dominican Republic. Yeah, it was a great trip. We had a great week, but it was tiring for sure.
Nice. How long ago was that?
2 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
Now, I think.
Nice. All right. The next picture here, this one cracks me up.
Yeah. Was that Ben and I? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was in California. Ben and I were hiking, and no, those are not my kids. Those are Christine McGrath's kids, and she has 2 beautiful children, Ethan and Kaylin. We call her Poppy, but so we were going hiking, and the funny thing is, Ethan did not like being on my back. He hated it. So the whole, like, you know, half the trip, he was not thrilled, you know, being on someone's back as we're, like, you know, climbing a mountain. But then he eventually warmed up to it. But it's a heck of a workout. You ever try to hike with children strapped to your back?
Oh, I can't imagine, man. They're all moving around and fidgeting and shifting weight all the time. It probably adds a whole different element to your hiking.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was a good time.
That's cool. All right, here's one. And I got a kick out of this one. I got to know the story of what's going on here.
Bretta Anyone? Oh, that was at my stepsister's wedding. And yeah, I don't know how that picture was made, but if you see my brother-in-law in the background, Daniel up there on the left making a funny face. My sister was getting married, and I think someone had just brought a tray of like these little bruschettas, and they just like basically handed it to me. And I, for some reason, like, I don't know, I guess I just didn't want it. So I was basically offering it. I was like, someone else want this? Like, I actually don't want this. And that's a great photo, I think. But how do I look with a suit and tie? Pretty good, huh?
I was going to say, most people probably
Not
never
bad, right?
see you looking all dapper like that, right? They usually see you in your pickleball gear. So that was pretty cool to see.
Not bad.
Yeah. All right, we got one more here.
Was that from? I think that was from the Punta Cana trip, also.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So it was a little hibachi place, right? And and the guy was doing these like tricks, with the spatula and the sword, whatever, or the knife. And I mean, I can flip my paddle and stuff. So I was like, yo, let me try. And so he hands me the spatula, and I was like, oh, the knife too. And he was not comfortable with me wielding the knife, but I ended up, and I was gonna like flip it, but I was like, you know what, one missed toss and a slip of the finger and my career is over. So I flipped the spatula and I was fine, but the knife I did nothing crazy with.
Nothing fun with the knife.
I think that'd have been kind of a liability concern, especially if I would have bled over like the poor people's food that we were sitting with. That wouldn't have been good.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, honestly, every time I go to a hibachi restaurant, I'm always like amazed by what they do. But I'm like, let me try. Pass that over here. Let me see what I can do with it. So I always wondered how hard it was. Like, were you actually like flipping some of the food and stuff?
No, but when he tossed me a shrimp, I caught it in my mouth. That was pretty cool.
That's cool. Nice. That's awesome. Well, that's all we were able to discover. Those are only pictures that we had questions about here. So
you didn't dig that deep, huh?
And no, we tried to go as deep as we could, but we'll have to try again harder for the next time we have you on.
Yeah, we'll see if the real deep stuff for part 2 of the interview.
The Cypress Cove photos.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Nice.
All right.
Yep.
But in response to that
tune in
hibachi
next time.
picture, yeah, in response to that hibachi picture, a lot of people don't know this, but like before we decided to make this channel about pickleball, like we were gonna devote the YouTube channel to the art of hibachi, so that would have fit in exactly like perfectly. So. I'm just making stuff up now, but anyway, there's a lot of great questions, and we can't go to the comments section on social media without asking a question from Mr. John Davison. So he wants to know, what is your spirit animal? If I were to take a wild guess, I would assume it's either a ninja or a unicorn. Can you confirm?
Is a ninja an animal?
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering too. Like.
Who is this guy? Why is we're still gonna let him keep commenting on here? My
Right.
spirit animal. Man. Maybe an alligator. And I can elaborate.
All right.
Because I have no problem just laying down and chilling and doing nothing all day. I don't mind being lazy, just sitting there, calm, don't bother anybody. But if you come up and you try to poke me, or if I get hungry, man, I will snap.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good answer. I like that a lot. That is a good one. Here's one from Raymond Hamid. What is your favorite sports drink you use during singles outdoor games?
It's called Body Armor. Or there's this stuff called Electrolyte, and it's basically like Pedialyte. And actually, I like the Electrolyte because right now at 7-Eleven you can get 2 for $4. The little things.
nice.
But yeah, because when you're playing here in Florida, water just doesn't give you enough. You can't replenish what you lose, so you have to have stuff like packed. So I drink coconut water a lot, or the Body Armor, which actually has coconut water in it, with a bunch of vitamins, or the Electrolyte, which is basically Pedialyte. Something to have a whole bunch of like electrolytes and vitamins and potassium and stuff that you basically lose when you're sweating, things that your muscles need. So yeah, just water is usually not enough. I don't really drink anything with too much sugar, but yeah, like the coconut water or like the electrolyte, it's usually does the trick for me.
Nice. I really appreciate that question because, as Eddie knows, I sweat like crazy. Like it's unnatural how much I sweat.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So yeah, So I'm definitely gonna try some of those drinks out because I need some help. Water. Even here in Michigan, in freezing cold Michigan, when I play indoors, I sweat like crazy, and water just isn't cutting it. Yeah. So I
went through 5 shirts today, actually.
Yeah, it's I definitely got to pack extra everything when I play because I got to change after a few games usually. But yeah, definitely a good question. I appreciate that. I will take that advice. Lorraine Christopherson Rupper wants to know, what would be Kyle's dream job?
Hey, Lorraine. Dream job. Besides being a professional pickleball player.
Right?
Right? Actually, I'm extremely jealous of some of like the pro surfers, because basically their job is to travel around the world to the most beautiful waves and swim and surf, and they get paid for it. So I'm pretty jealous of that. Right now, pickleball, I basically just travel the U.S., been to Europe a couple times, but you know, just being able to go to like different, most beautiful places, like they go to like Tahiti and like these places, it's unreal. So that'd be fun, even though it's probably a little more dangerous than pickleball. It's pretty exciting. But yeah, just I don't know. I've always wanted to be a professional athlete, and I wasn't good enough at most other sports to accomplish that. It's a kind of a blessing to find pickleball and being able to travel and do kind of what I wanted to do with pickleball. And you know, it's so early with the sport right now, but I think since it's growing, if I can keep working and keep improving, I can stick with it for a while, and we'll see where we get. But yeah, I feel like I'm at my dream job right now, so I'm right where I'm supposed to be, I think.
Yeah, that's awesome. And when I read that question, like that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, I feel like Kyle is living his dream job. He's living my dream job, that's for sure.
Yeah, or an astronaut. That's cool too, you know.
Nice. Our buddy Scott Golden is tuning in. He has a question for you. He says, Kyle, how does one get into better shape so one doesn't almost pass out and die of heat stroke in this muggy Florida weather? LOL.
You kind of get used to it if you don't really exercise in these kind of conditions where it's 90 degrees, 90% humidity. It takes a lot out of you. It finds a way to suck water out of you and you don't realize it. But just hydrating more than you think and then making sure to eat enough usually helps. And then otherwise, it's just kind of getting used to it. Your body naturally acclimates, but if you're not used to it, you could play all day long somewhere else that's 75 degrees or low humidity, and then you come to Florida and you play for an hour and you're done. It finds a way to zap some energy out of you, but you do get used to it. I know a lot of the top players are coming in a little early to kind of acclimate a little, which is very smart.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I grew up in it, so I mean, it still gets to me sometimes, but I think I know how to prepare for it, and that's kind of the main thing.
All right. Here's one that I am definitely interested to hear more about. This comes from Scott Yates, and it says, ask Kyle about his Raptor.
Raptor is this basically like this little machine. It's for workouts. It's like a pulley system and yeah, it'll get you. It's a workout device.
Interesting. Matthew Pace wants to know, what is your most unique hidden talent?
Hidden talent?
Like, I would say mine is probably making fart sounds with my armpit. Do you have anything like that you can do? Or
No, I can't even whistle. I'm an average juggler. I tried underwater basket weaving, and I could hold my breath for a while, but I just couldn't. I couldn't make the baskets. That's a good question. If I figure out, honestly, up until now, like pickleball was my hidden talent.
Yeah,
so,
you found it.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. If I figure out something that I'm better at than pickleball, I'll let you know.
All right, I'm going to do one more comment for now. This is from Shelly again, and he wants to know, he says, Eddie, Webby, and I are 3.5 players wanting to be 5.0. What is one piece of advice that you can give us? Great question.
For a 3.5 trying to get to a 5.0 level?
Yeah.
I mean, this sounds pretty basic, but you've got to practice with a purpose. I know a lot of people, they think they're drilling, and what ends up happening is if you haven't taken a lesson, honestly, the first thing you should do is take a lesson from a good instructor. And by good instructor, I mean a professional player. There's plenty of people who can kind of tell you what to do, but if they don't actually have like the experience of a pro player, they're missing out on a lot of key advice. For example, like taking a lesson from Simone, you learn so much more from Simone than you do someone who hasn't won major titles. I think the main thing is I see a lot of people, especially at 3.5 level, they go out and they play, and there's something like typically fundamentally or technically wrong with the way they hit the ball. And like I said, anyone can have their own style and kind of get away with it. But when you're doing something technically wrong that it's hard to replicate the same shot consistently, time and time again, your consistency is going to be far lower than you want it to be. So just having proper form will take you a long way. And at least if you're practicing the right things, you're practicing the right shot selection, the right type of shot every time, your consistency will go up. But if you're practicing in like incorrect strokes, you're doing something weird and you're reinforcing it by drilling it instead of getting it out of your system right away, now it's tough. It's tough. You're always going to struggle with that. And the more you drill it, the harder it is it's going to get out of your system. So I think taking a lesson right away from a very good instructor that knows the game really well, and I think that will help tremendously, because all the top players are there for a reason. It's not just because of athletic ability. They obviously do everything right. If you see all the top players, most of them hit the ball fundamentally well, and that's because you need to for your consistency to be as high as it is. So I think from a 3-5 level, technique and form is probably more important than anything else. And then if you can get to maybe 4-5 level, the mental part of the game plays more of a factor. But yeah, just take a lesson, man. Take a lesson from a good instructor. I think just spending a little bit of money now will, I think it'll pay off. Especially if you're really set on getting to 5 level, just get help. You don't have to do it by yourself. There's plenty of people that would love to help you.
Nice. Yeah, great advice. I've never taken any lessons, but I do actually have something planned for the end of May with a professional trainer, so that should be good. Hopefully it pays off, and hopefully I can increase my skills. So we've had a ton of great questions from people on Facebook. Right now, I actually want to go over something that Kyle posted to Facebook a little while ago. Eddie, I'm not sure if you have that handy, but let's take a look at that. This was a pretty awesome post from back in February. Kyle said, this is from the Kyle Yates Pickleball Facebook page, humbled to be named the World Pickleball Federation #1 ranked men's doubles player in the world. That is extremely impressive. That's awesome stuff right there. And I don't know if you remember this, but I actually replied to that message on Facebook. And I said, that's awesome. Congrats. However, you've never been involved in a match against Eddie and Webby, so the verdict is still out, if you ask me, ... And then you actually replied to that. Not sure if you remember this, but you said, I'll take y'all on 1 versus 2, set it up. And I don't know if you were serious or not, but I don't know about you, Eddie. I would gladly take him up on that offer if he was serious.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to play Eddie and Webby.
Yes.
At the same time.
I say we do it. I say we do it.
I say we do it.
All right. Let's do it, man.
And I do believe there's a tournament coming up this summer that all 3 of us are going to be at. Are you going to be at the Beer City Open, Kyle?
Absolutely.
Oh, man. And so is Eddie and Webby.
We'll see.
Just saying.
We'll see. Yeah, set it up, man. Set it up. But back to the picture. I think humbled was probably the best word I could have used to describe that, because I you guys all see me play. You watch me, some of you watch me on YouTube, some of you come to tournaments, and I've been playing for a while now. But you guys don't see, how many hours of practice behind the scenes it takes, for a lot of these top players to get where they're at. We don't just wake up and all of a sudden we're professional pickleball players. So yeah. It's taken a lot of work, and it's one thing to win, titles. It's awesome. It's fun. But when, you receive an award that kind of just, legitimizes all that hard work, that shows like, hey, this wasn't all for nothing. It's a pretty good feeling. So, worked hard for it, and obviously it's, doubles. So it takes 2 to tango, right? And I've got really, really good partners. And without them, obviously it wouldn't have even been possible. So obviously all the credit was going to them. And I can't thank them enough for carrying me. So, that was great.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's and I know I left that wacky comment, but seriously, that's awesome. Definitely something to be super proud of. And that's very, very cool.
Yeah, definitely quite the accomplishment. Pretty awesome. And that was at the Florida Grand Slam that you actually received that, right?
Yes. Yeah, Bonita Springs.
Nice, man. Well, Kyle, man, we've been taking up a lot of your time tonight. This has been awesome. Such a great opportunity to be able to hang out. How can people kind of follow you and your adventure with all this, success at dominating the sport of pickleball?
I'm flattered you phrased it that way. Like I said, follow me on social media. We're trying to grow social media because when we can share, videos or, our day-to-day stuff, it just brings more awareness to the sport. And that's really all I want to do. I just want to grow the sport as much as I can. So if you just want to follow social media, follow my Facebook page, follow my Instagram, like I said, KyleYates.pb. You can kind of see, the day-to-day stuff that I'm doing. But yeah, just watch the matches. The main thing I can do is just watch the matches on YouTube, when there's a tournament, or watch the live streams, because the more people that watch, we can market that to better sponsors and get, better live streams. And it's going to just improve everything about the sport and push it further and further. I mean, Nationals last year was covered by ESPN3, and I think in a year or two we can drop that down to ESPN2 even. The U.S. Open gets aired on CBS Sports. So the more coverage that we get like that, the more we can show everybody how amazing the sport is. And that's really all I want to do.
Nice, man. Well, we'll definitely throw links down below to the Instagram and Facebook page. And I agree. Go check out a lot of Kyle's matches here. I enjoy watching them. Like I said, I usually am on YouTube watching, pickleball videos quite often. And yours are typically at the top of the ones that I watch. So definitely recommend that to everyone out there. But thank you again, man. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if you want to watch some excellent matches and try to pick up even if you just pick up a fraction of something out of the matches that Kyle puts on, I mean, just you're learning from the best by watching his video. So definitely check that out. I definitely do regularly. I highly recommend it, and you definitely should do that.
Yes. Thanks again, man. Do appreciate you being on. Any parting words for us?
No, just thanks for having me on your show, guys. Keep doing your thing. Like I said, I'm just trying to grow the sport of pickleball. I think we all want to see it, grow and attract more people. And I think when you still go out to places, and if you go up to some random person, you ask them if they've heard of pickleball, most people will still say no. And I'd like to change that. I think it would do a lot of people good to get more people playing, because it's obviously changed all our lives for the better. And obviously there's so many more people that I think could still use it and still find it helpful for them. And, it's a great outlet for people. It's very social, and, let's change some more lives and get the sport going. Okay.
Nice. Thanks, man. Definitely appreciate you being on. We will see you at the Open. Well, that was Just the Pickle from episode number 38.
Yeah, that was good stuff. And like I said, it was just at the time, super starstruck. Kyle was an awesome guest. As we all know, a legend in the sport now. At the time, he was already building up legendary status. But yeah, very, very cool.
Yeah, it was so cool to get to know him. And, he doesn't live too far from me either. He's a Southwest Florida boy, which is always cool too. We had that connection. I used to see him around at different things, Johnny Pickleball show, different tournaments down here in the area. So it was cool to be able to kind of get to know him. And I don't really know that a lot of people knew him outside of the court, similar to all of our guests, but especially him. I don't know that people knew him that well. And I think that this episode kind of helped people understand who he is as a person off the court.
Yeah, for sure. It was very fun, very cool getting to know him. And yeah, I thought it was a great one.
And again, this is Just the Pickleball. We're giving you Just the Pickleball content from previous episodes. So if there's a guest on a previous episode that you want us to be able to bring back up and strip out anything not pickleball related, let us know in the comments down below. And we appreciate you tuning in. And on that note, I'm Eddie.
And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, signing off.
So yeah.
Pickleball.